Natasha.
Debbie.
The show.
We know you said it with us.
We hope you said it with us. Hopefully you guys saw our live video that we did this past Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. If not, we'll leave a description here, and I always do that. A link in the description of this video for you to check it out. We talked about things, and we talked about some more things. We shared some stuff.
So if you're not up to date, check it out and get up to date.
Yeah, pretty much. That's simple. And of course, if you don't mind, because YouTube does its thing and it helps us get back into your homes, that sounds really bad.
We want to get in your home.
What you got in there? Jaffa
And
Donuts?
to do that, we need your help. Hit that like button.
And subscribe, please. That'd be great. If you wouldn't mind. Or consider it. You know, sit down and write a pros and cons list. Pros. I get to see these weird girls all the time. Cons. I don't get to see them.
That's true.
I did it for you. You're welcome.
Learn stuff? Don't learn stuff.
I mean, have fun with us. Or don't. I mean, that's the pros and cons list. Have fun, don't have fun. I think the answer is obvious.
Have fun.
That almost sounded staged.
Because we're trying to have fun. We are having
always
fun.
Have fun on here. And today, we're going to have a little more
fun.
Yes.
And learning.
Hey, we're doing good today. I mean, not bad.
Hey, we even high-fived.
We did not bad for two middle-aged lesbians that haven't done YouTube in 4 months.
We're back on track.
That part was not in track. What have we come here to learn today, Debbie? Actually, so I'll say this before she says that. There have been some things we've learned in a, like videos that have like little moments of things, right? And then there's stuff that we want to go back and learn more about to make ourselves hate ourselves. This is one of those videos.
It might be, but we're going to check it out. It is paid leave in the U.S. versus the world.
Hi. We already know this is going to suck.
For us.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It is.
So I'm not going to say anything more about it because we know some things. We've learned some things. There are some stipulations that probably aren't in here. I mean, it all depends on your job, too.
Exactly.
It also depends on if you're self-employed. That'd be me. Or not self-employed. That'd be Debbie.
Me.
It's a whole different ballgame.
And again, where you work.
Yeah. Different ballgame. So
it definitely is.
It's time to play the game. That doesn't make any sense at all.
You live here and you're having a baby.
Hold on. We all live there.
We all do. On Earth.
If
you don't live on Earth, please let me know.
It's just rare that we have to see a map of something we all live on. Okay, sorry. Having a baby.
Congratulations.
Roll for that.
Here's some more good news. If you're employed, there's a good chance you'll get paid time off to take care of your new bundle of joy. And you'll probably get to go back to your old job when that leave is over. 95.6% of Earth's population.
America, you get 3 days off. and you have to pay them to keep your job.
That's not true.
It's not that far off, though.
When that leave is over. 95.6% of Earth's population lives in countries where at least one parent gets this time. So your odds are looking pretty good. But if you're part of the other 4.4%,
Is this us?
Well, you get nothing. You might get time off, but it almost certainly won't be paid. That's if you live on this small island, any of these tiny islands, or in this gigantic economic powerhouse whose 2020 GDP was $6 trillion more than second place China.
Welcome to America, sometimes also known as the other third world country.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Well, we wish we could improve that.
No, we are not politicians.
But, you know, we're not having babies.
Yeah, but those that are.
Those that are, yes, for sure.
Okay. Fine.
To be fair, 9 states and Washington, D.C. have passed their own paid leave laws since 2002. But federally...
And then I can be very brief with the United States. We have nothing.
You've probably heard this before.
'Tis true.
There's no end to coverage on the subject.
Just us and Papua New Guinea.
If you don't know, as of right now, the United States is only one of 5 countries without guaranteed paid family leave.
88% of working mothers will not get 1 minute of paid leave.
But why is it this way? The U.S. is just as wealthy.
Hold up. 88%? I mean, I haven't had a kid. Neither one of us have popped one out.
Thank goodness.
We haven't. So 88% don't.
I find that percentage awfully high.
Scary.
Like
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
But
I
on the other hand, I can't believe it. I just think the number's high.
I mean, any job that's like a corporate job, that's not going to be the case. Because I know plenty of people who I don't know anybody who's had that problem. You know? I don't know anyone who's had a baby and didn't get paid time off. I just don't personally. So maybe maybe they'll tell us. I'll shut up. Sorry. That's crazy.
Of paid leave.
But why is it this way? The US is just as wealthy and developed as these countries.
You would think.
And operates with similar governmental structures.
Hey.
So, what gives?
What does give? Cheap?
Most countries have some combination of maternity leave, paternity leave,
we don't have that.
and parental leave,
Well,
which
that-
is for either
paternity.
parent
We
after
do?
individual leave ends. Provisions vary for LGBTQ and other non-traditional parents. Here's how it works in practice.
Okay.
Let's compare the US to
Everyone?
none of these.
Oh, why?
It's a media favorite to compare social policies in the US to those of Nordic countries, which are extremely generous in comparison. But they have very different social and economic structures from the US. Instead, let's compare to similar nations,
UK?
the United Kingdom
What's up,
and
UK?
Canada.
Oh, hey, Canadians.
A pregnant person in the UK can take 39 weeks
Yeah,
with
that's
about
crazy.
30% of their average weekly pay.
30%.
A pregnant
Sounds good.
Canadian can take a
better
total
than or
of
nothing.
51
It
weeks
is.
at about 50% of their average wage.
Really?
Much
Canada?
better.
In each
Hold up.
1 weeks at about 50% of their average.
No one told us this.
If we were to have a baby,
We'd go to
would
Canada.
need to go to Canada.
And we'd also need to get,
Citizenship
well, I
beforehand.
was going to say someone else to have the baby.
Yeah, that too. That would be a bonus.
We're not having a baby.
No.
Gary's enough to deal with. If you watch the live, you know. Wow.
That's a huge
I don't know how old
difference.
this video is, though, either. Is this accurate to today's stuff? Let us know. We haven't really looked at anything Canadian like that. That's crazy.
wage. In each country, these payments are capped at a certain amount.
Okay.
Taxes cover the cost. Though UK employers pay up front, the government typically reimburses the vast majority. Finally, both people are entitled to return to their old jobs, or at least similar ones. Sounds pretty good. Not Finland or Sweden good, but good. But in the US,
And then I can be very brief with the United States. We have nothing.
the 1993 Family and
That's just
Medical
depressing
Leave
as
Act
hell.
entitles new
Don't look
parents
at this
to
part.
12 weeks of job-protected leave without pay. The bright side is that this act provides the same leave for a major illness or injury, or to care for a relative. That's the family and medical part. The downside is that the caveats of the bill mean it only covers about 56% of the workforce. Now, let's return to the why.
Countries in the industrial world, which was primarily North America and Europe, really began paying attention to this issue at all in the last third of the 19th century.
When did we begin to pay attention?
Nations
Right.
needed women to both work and birth future workers, which gave women unprecedented bargaining power. Most
Yeah, it
European
did.
states passed some form of unpaid leave by the end of the 19th century. But in the US, the availability of cheap labor due to the echoes of slavery rendered female labor less necessary.
Slavery, of course, had been abolished, but sharecropping and other forms of more or less indentured labor kept a servile Black workforce in place.
Back in Europe, the movement for more maternity benefits got a major boost from World War I. To
Okay.
make a long story short, when millions of men went to fight in the trenches of World War I, millions of women staffed the
Right.
jobs they left behind.
In France, husky mademoiselles handle the wings like toys.
And when many of those men came back injured or not at all, working women gained bargaining power.
Europe was much more destroyed physically, that need for physical rebuilding and sort of this push for all hands on deck to rebuild. And so more women remained in the workforce, largely out of necessity.
Activists lobbied for 12 weeks of paid leave, and while countries didn't immediately comply, the stage was set for future reforms. especially when World War II left Europe even more battered just a few decades later.
Yeah, I would say.
But in the US, the lack of physical destruction and the comparably small number of deaths again rendered female labor a little less necessary.
In the United States.
Yeah, I mean, like...
It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, for that purpose, right?
Yeah.
But...
It still...
It wasn't... Sorry, go ahead.
It still stinks that, the U.S. isn't valuing the women and their... reproduction?
See, I didn't like the way they said that. It made us
Reproducing
feel like,
future workers.
Like we're just manufacturing people. I mean, that's what we do. Not you and I. We didn't
participate.
We didn't participate.
I opted out. Nope.
When I read the seat, the accept the user terms and agreement, I said nope. Anyway, no, but really, it was just, in all seriousness, like, I know the workforce for women in the U.S. at least wasn't really that serious until the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So ridiculous.
Again, rendered female labor a little less necessary.
In the United States, after World War II, the men came back, and the idea was largely,
women
okay,
back in the
thanks, women.
kitchens.
We really appreciate what you did while we were gone, and now we're going to take our jobs back.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Now, you may be asking yourself, what about Canada?
I am asking.
It's not
that,
like
actually.
the Axis forces stomped all over the Great White North,
So this
so
is
how'd they
different.
get paid leave?
Yeah.
That difference largely comes down to the priorities of feminist movements. While Canadian feminists included paid leave in their activism, American feminists tended to prioritize other issues, like reproductive rights, workplace rights, and passing the Equal Rights Amendment.
Right. That was a really big deal.
Between World War II and the late 1980s, most wealthy nations passed maternity leaves with job protection and pay. But the US lagged behind. Representative Patricia Schroeder of Colorado sponsored the first paid leave bill in 1984, but it languished under the Reagan administration. It was reintroduced twice and vetoed twice in the Bush years, despite enormous popularity among the public.
And he didn't want to draw a lot of attention to the fact he was vetoing it. So he put out some written statements that just said, I'm a big fan of family leave. I think we should have family leave, but I don't think it's the government's place to do it.
I'm assuming that's Bush Sr.?
That's what I'm thinking.
She didn't say the year. I mean, it's right after Reagan, right? But I'm a big fan of it. However, not going to do it. You kind of have to, dude.
Well, I mean, he was saying he doesn't think it's the federal government's responsibility.
But it is.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Because, I mean, leaving it up to the states, then you're going to have people moving to... It's a whole cluster of...
Yeah, that's true.
A word I wasn't going to... Never mind. Sorry.
Activists used this as a cudgel against Bush in the 1992 election, and Bill Clinton promised to pass it if he won. The Family and Medical Leave Act was the first major piece of legislation he signed on February 5th, 1993.
It was nothing.
As much as this was a victory, it was only meant to be a first step. When asked about the FMLA in 2014, Representative Schroeder said,
"It's still so watered down and everything else. That was 20 some odd years ago. What have you done since? Could you please beef it up?" I don't think there's a capital in the world that talks more about family values and does less.
Some progress has been made. The Trump administration passed 12 weeks of paid parental leave for federal employees in 2019.
Well, what was it before
Additionally, as of 2020, 21% of the workforce had access to paid family leave through their employers. But the biggest moves came from individual states, starting with California, which passed the first paid leave law in 2002.
They claim it would be a job killer. They claim it will be abused. That Aunt Mary will have a hangnail and somebody will want to take off from work to take care of her.
This is Eileen Applebaum. She studied the effects of California's law and found that 91% of businesses reported either no effect or a positive effect on profitability.
It did not reduce productivity. It did not reduce profit.
Okay, but hold on. If that's the case, then what's the rest of the states doing and why isn't it federal then?
I guess it's just not being a priority.
But why? But why? That's a huge number.
No one's bringing it up. No one's fighting for it.
If we have any Americans watching that live in any of these states and you have gone you've seen the difference, please comment. I would really like to know. Because to me, it makes no sense why that isn't talked about more, and why it has been pushed out nationally. I mean, why did we just let this go? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is a joke. Just look at other countries and see how things are going. Yeah. Look at it.
Exactly. I mean, to give 12 weeks would be nothing compared to what everybody else is doing.
30 something, 50 something. Like, come on. Ridiculous.
It did not reduce productivity. It did not reduce profitability.
I wouldn't have thought it would.
It increased morale. It reduced turnover.
Why this works is pretty simple. Firstly, it's funded through a small tax amounting to about 1% of a worker's first $118,000 in earnings.
And because it's spread out over the entire workforce, and because workers do not take advantage of it, the expenses are quite low.
Secondly, it reduces turnover, which is one of the most expensive parts of running a business.
I remember talking to a top executive at a California IT company, and he said to us, well, I've been in many, many meetings, and I have never heard anyone say, well, if it wasn't for paid family and medical leave in California, our share price would be through the roof.
Since California, 8 more states and DC have passed their own paid leave laws. And in March, over 250 companies sent a joint letter to Congress requesting paid leave at the federal level.
Oh,
well, that's good.
Yeah, but I wanted to see
50 companies
Patreon's
sent a joint letter to Congress requesting paid.
Thank you, Sweden. Sweden's like, hey. I was just curious which ones.
Yeah, that's not.
So, what the actual hell is going on then? Milk makeup. Have you ever heard of milk makeup?
No, I have not.
Leave at the federal level.
And?
Which may actually happen, since both President Biden and Massachusetts Representative Richard Neal recently proposed paid leave plans.
Who would have thought that 2 old white guys would be the ones fighting over whose bill is going to get passed?
What do we know about this?
And with 82% of Americans in favor of paid leave, is it just a matter of time?
Your ability to take a paid leave should not depend on what state you're working in or on what we call the boss lottery. I welcome every big company with deep pockets that provides these benefits to its workers. But I don't really think we can require businesses to provide these benefits. They're expensive if you do it one business at a time.
Okay, fair, but like Amazon, is worldwide, but in the States, right? It operates in every single state. Yeah. So there's plenty of businesses that do. Those, if they're doing it in California, which I'm not sure if they are or not, then they should be doing it throughout the country. Yeah. It just makes sense. It
does make sense.
I say that now.
And not having the employee turnover has got to be huge. I mean, to have to retrain employees all the time, it's got to be expensive.
I agree.
Businesses to provide these benefits. They're expensive if you do it one business at a time. They're cheap if you do it for the workforce of an entire state or an entire country.
Okay. Well, yay. Yay.
That's depressing.
But hold up, because I have Debbie's phone here and pulled up really quickly the current status on the FMLA. At least that's what we're looking at. Although maybe maternity leave we should look at. No, because that video is 4 years old. So it says, as of early 2026, the FMLA continues to provide eligible employees with up to 12 weeks of unpaid job-protected leave for specific family medical reasons, or up to 26 weeks for military caregiver leave. That applies to public agencies, schools, and private companies with 50-plus employees, covering serious health conditions, birth, adoption, and military, whatever that word is. Now, I'm curious about the current status on maternity. While there is no immediate federal change, several legislative efforts and major state-level expansions are currently active in 2026.
Okay.
The Family Act of 2025. This reintroduced bill proposes a national paid leave insurance program that would provide up to 12 weeks of paid leave for new parents. It uses a progressive wage replacement formula to ensure lower wage workers receive a higher percentage of their pay. More Paid Leave for More Americans Act, introduced in April of 2025, seeks to incentivize states to create their own paid leave programs through federal grants. Stupid. New Parents Act. This proposal would allow new parents to borrow up to 3 months of Social Security benefits. What?
Wow.
Early in exchange for a later retirement age or reduced future benefits. I'm leaving this country. No, I'm sorry, that bothered me. Yeah. That's taking your retirement money now and borrowing against it.
No, that's not fair.
That's not okay. We need to fix this.
That definitely needs to be revamped, redone.
One of those things that I don't like about this country that we need to fix and get right. And it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. No. So that's fun. Let us know about your countries. We know about ours. Please,
unfortunately,
we don't need any more negative comments about it. We already know. But if you live in one of the other states or have, let us know your experience with things changing. And, countries that are outside of here, of course, we want to know your experience there as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Depressing Times in America. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode. As always, please love like jazz.
Be as strong as Tyson.
Bye, friends.
Bye.